Sunday's VMAs had millions of viewers, but will that translate into millions of dollars? And for whom exactly?
That's right. Here to discuss the VMA's cash winners and losers is U.S. business correspondent Andrew Schmertz. Welcome, Andrew.
Fresh back from the VMA parties.
Up all night, kicking it.
Up all night, kicking it. You and Beyonce. Yeah. Okay, so it's been a ratings roller coaster for the VMAs.
It really has been. After years of declining ratings, in 2012, its ratings were down 50% from last year, and we don't have the exact numbers from this year, but it seems that the numbers are up a little bit. What's interesting, though, is the sponsorship dollars are way up. They have a record amount of sponsorship dollars into the VMA Awards this year, and I gotta believe part of it is really the allure of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and some of the big names that are getting behind it. You know, they held it at the Radio City Music Hall here in New York City, at Lincoln Center for many years. I don't know if Lincoln Center was the right venue for the VMA Awards.
I was at that one. It was
not so good?
Yeah, it was boring, really boring.
I think they may have hit onto something with the Barclays Center, so there seems to be some early success.
So since this was the first time it was at the Barclays Center, do you think the Barclays Center has finally arrived? Like, this is the pinnacle of events?
I'll tell you, as a former Brooklynite, Brooklyn is back.
Brooklyn's back.
Brooklyn is really back. This is a borough that would be the 5th largest city in the United States and is a name, of course, known throughout the world because it's so famous for so many different things, but it fell on some hard times. So the Barclays Center has really helped rejuvenate it. You know, it got kicked off when it opened with a series of concerts from Jay-Z. It has hosted numerous other concerts from Beyonce. Even Barbra Streisand, a former Brooklynite who grew up in Brooklyn, participated there and sang there. And of course, it's home to the New York Nets and soon to be the New York Islanders. And so it's starting to come back a little bit. And what is interesting is it's not just the Barclays Center itself, because this was a very heavily criticized stadium and arena when it was built, because they had to get rid of a lot of houses to do so.
Right in the middle of the city.
It's right in
very
Flatbush
populated
Avenue
already.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get to, but it has shown significant pop for the local businesses around. The hotels were 98% occupied during the VMA. The local businesses all sort of benefiting from it. So certainly those events help the local community.
So it was good for Brooklyn.
It appears right now good for Brooklyn. There are a lot of criticisms, though, that this has created just more traffic and that a lot of people got displaced from it. But it's here to stay, and it seems that the borough is benefiting from
Well, you know, that was one of the interesting things last night. While some people may be saying financially it helped out, but the red carpet was right in the middle of everybody's house. You see people in the window looking like, yeah.
You know, this arena is in the downtown city.
Right.
You know, it's like the old Ebbets Field when the Dodgers played. It's right in downtown. And to some extent, it's a little bit more accessible than, let's say, Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And it's not as accessible as Madison Square Garden, which will be interesting to see the effect on Madison Square Garden, which is considered the world's most famous arena, of course, and where tons of concerts have been held over the decades. Barclays Center's starting to steal away some of that.
Well, competition.
Well, let's talk about the awards.
Sure.
Do they actually help an artist in terms of the bottom line? Is there an MTV award bump?
I think that there seems to be for some type of artist.
Okay.
The question I have is that MTV is now getting a little bit long in the tooth, right? So it has had trouble, I think, through the years staying as relevant as it should, which is why it branched out into all these crazy reality shows like the Jersey Shore. It really moved away from music. The M in MTV is supposed to stand for music, but it has moved away from music, I would say, many viewers say. But there are artists that have done very well. Adele, for example, saw a significant bump when she sang. Her song, Someone Like You, shot up to #1, following right after her appearance, a 441% increase in downloads off of iTunes.
You're kidding.
Lady Gaga also benefited significantly from appearing on the show. Beyonce has benefited, and as well as some rockers, including Young the Giant. Their single shot up to #2 after appearing. So it depends on who you are. It's probably a great venue if you're not well known.
Yeah,
That's true.
To get out there, because they still have a significant amount of viewers. You know, they are on 60 different channels, and they claim to reach 500 million people. I don't know how you get to those numbers, but they you know, I guess when you show it the 87 more times that they'll show it this month alone on MTV, eventually the numbers add up.
They repeated it right after.
Of course they did. Yes.
Well, you know, they're also reaching a lot of people via social media, and I'm curious how social media sites like Twitter have helped revenues, especially for sponsorship.
You know, their social media platform has been really impressive. And Viacom's properties from Nickelodeon to MTV across the board have really mastered social media. They've done a very good job. For example, last year's telecast of the awards generated 15 million tweets.
You're kidding.
15 million people.
million?
So that means a significant portion. Let's say only 10% of the people bother to tweet something. So that's what, 150 million people watching, actually taking the time to tweet. Those numbers rival the Oscars. The Oscars get those type of numbers as well. So people are commenting, but what's interesting here is they can sell those tweets. So companies can piggyback on some of those tweets. If a performer mentions a sponsor, for example, and then they tweet that out, they can possibly get some additional sponsorship money from it. So the social media portion of this has been rather significant and probably helps to keep the awards relevant. It's interesting. What will be interesting to note is how many people watched it on TV, how many people watched it online, how many people watched the clips later, the YouTube videos, who tweeted the videos and the pictures, all of that. Will be interesting to see what those final numbers look like.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us posted on all the numbers as they develop, right?
Right after I go back to the parties. Tonight.
Party and
After party.
another money maker for Brooklyn, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrew.
We'll go to some
Always
clubs in
so good,
Brooklyn,
Andrew.
Saturday.
Thank you so much. And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.